Hello everyone and welcome to my guide for Aivela Esne's Purification Beam. It's a really quick guide just focused on the mechanics in Phase 4 when you are going along pretty well, doing well, and then 4 laser beams wipe across the room and kill everyone. I'm going to give you guys a couple tips for prog teams to hopefully get through it. So let's dive in. Okay, so here we are in an example video. We've just pushed to Phase 4. Bosses are now movable, they're casting radiance, everything's going really smoothly. We're about to start having to deal with the 4 purification beams called the wiper phase. We've got to know how to react. So, here it comes. Okay, so here's the first set of purification beams. You're always going to get 2 of each color, 2 white and 2 red. It's going to be random which corners they go to. And it's important to note, different beams will move at different speeds. So it's not always going to be predictable exactly where you need to go, but there are a few easy rules. First and foremost, what you want to do is to pick one color or the other, and you want to go through both of those energy beams so that they're past you, then change polarity to the other one, or the other 2, and kind of let them come to you. So here, from the POV from my character, Ninian, we're really close to the red, so what I'm going to want to do is go to the red and get through both of those. I'm going to want to stay on this side, and I'm either going to want to pivot a little to the left or a little to the right, depending on which speed they go. So in this particular example, purple X is where we're going to want to be based on the speed. You can see it live here in just a moment. Okay, so here we are. We're halfway through the phase. We've now oriented ourselves to red, since that was the side we're on. We made it through both of the red beams. You can see the one originating from the top right moved a lot faster than the one behind us, so therefore we pivoted left to get through it quicker. We ran to the slow one, if you will. So you can see here now both of those are past us. As long as we don't move too quickly, we don't have anything to worry about red, so now we can just swap to white, and we can kind of let them come to us. Generally, the tank's going to be standing here. We're kind of in a good position where the boss won't even have moved too much. So in general, what we're going to want to do is just kind of cheat towards the boss a little bit and just kind of resume just DPSing the boss. In this case, we're on Esne. So we're just going to stay on Esne and just keep on wailing on her, and we'll let the white beams come to us. We'll just go ahead and change our polarity here, and then we're kind of set if everyone kind of does everything. See here, we already had a death. That's kind of mechanically how it works. So we'll play it out to the end here. Okay, so now we reach the end of that phase. So you can see there, we obviously had a few deaths. This was actually, I think, our ops team's one of our first 2 or 3 pulls ever on this fight, getting to Phase 4. So obviously we're still figuring out the mechanics. We're taking a lot of damage. We lost healer, lost the tank. It's obviously going to be a wipe. So you see here, we made it through the phases. You kind of see how it works. So I'm going to show you a couple more examples of how to move. But again, same thing. Move through one color, swap polarities, then go to the next one.
Show me the fire within you.
Okay, so here's another pro tip to help give you even more advanced notice on how to react and to anticipate to this phase. So you can see here pretty clearly the glare droid on the left is glowing red, the glare droid on the right is glowing white. It's tougher to tell given my camera view here, but the one in the back is glowing red, and the one just behind us here at the entrance is also glowing white. Now, you kind of have to know the direction these are going to point, but once you know that the left glare droid is going to be pointing towards the entrance, and the glare droid at the bottom is going to be pointing to the middle right. So those kind of directionally, and then the other 2 kind of move around the room. So what that means is, if you're familiar with this, you kind of look and know what that means is that we're going to need to move left if we're going to stay with red. And so we'll see here in a moment. Okay, so you can see here, just like we thought, we're going to have red on both left sides, white on the right sides. And so what are we going to do? Well, in this particular scenario, it's a little opposite from the other one. Again, my thinking is keep it simple. And so what I like to do is our side is the red side based on the radiance circle. So in general, I want to try and stay red as long as I can. So, and also that should mean that everyone is matched to that color entering the phase. So the simplest way to do it is move to red. So in this case, we've got a beam, two beams to the left. So we're going to want to move to the left. Now, exactly where in the left side we're going to want to go depends on how quickly the beams are moving. But in general, we know I can move to that middle left position and then figure out the rest as I get there. As it happens in this particular scenario, purple X is going to show that's about where we're going to want to be because of the speed of the beams. So again, we want to get through red, then we'll swap polarities. So let's go ahead and play the video. Okay, so here we are, right where we thought we were going to be. In this particular case, the beam is moving a little bit faster on the left, a little bit slower on the back. So we're going to move a little further up that left side. But again, the key is we want to run basically to the, you can see here there's a nice X. We want to run to the X to get position. So now we're past the red. We're a little further away from the boss than we'd really like. But that's okay. We're ready to swap polarities and then wait for the white, move towards the boss.
It feeds my hunger.
So here we are. We made it through the phase. Again, this is one of our second or third pulls, so we did lose most of the group. I should mention this ops team, none of us really done this before, so we're still figuring this out. But nevertheless, you can see here how we made it through. Again, we run to, in this particular case on our side, we ran to the red, get through the red X, get through both red beams, swap polarities, get through the white, kind of trend our way back, get the boss back in position. We actually have the boss in position pretty nicely here, but obviously it's a wipe. But still, you can see the mechanics. Let's move to another example.
Yes! Show me the fire within you.
Okay, so here we are with another example. Same thing, we're in phase 4, about to go to the purification beams, but we get a little bit of a sneak peek here. You see that the left and back glares are red, the right, and you can't quite see it here, but I know from process elimination, because I could see 3 of them, that the right and then the back one that I can't see is going to be white. Now, again, you have to know the direction of the beams. I know that they are going to point in effectively a clockwise direction moving around the room. So I know that the beam behind me is going to go to the upper left. The beam to the right side is going to come back towards me. So this combination tells me that my corner, the entrance corner in this case, is going to be white, and that the far side is going to be red. Now, normally we're the red side because we are on Esne. So what we're going to need to do here is quickly change our polarity, and we're going to move kind of backwards, and we're going to pivot left or right to get through the white beams first, and then we'll swap back polarities, make it back through the red, and actually just pretty quickly if we get through the right really fast, because since we're standing in the red radiance circle, less time we spend in white the better. But again, kind of similar to the first example, except the colors are obviously swapped here. So let's play it out and see how it goes. Okay, so just like we said, we've got white in our corner. So again, we know we're going to want to step backwards, and then we're going to pivot a little to the left, a little to the right, depending on how quickly the beams move. Again, our goal is to get through both white beams, kind of move through the X, if you will. So where it's going to end up being for this pull is here at the purple X. So again, we're going to back up and pivot just a little bit to the left to get through that. Then you're going to switch back to red and keep going. So let's play it out. Okay, so you can see we made it through that phase. Everyone's alive. Fortunately, we're all relatively low on health, partly because grouping up in this phase is a little bit challenging. One of the things that was a little suboptimal here is we had to swap to white. At the same time, we were being targeted by a red AoE, so we actually take that tick here of damage, which lowers us a fair bit, especially getting our healer really low, which is probably one of the contributing factors to a wipe. In this particular pull, ideally, we maybe should have been a little bit faster, swapping to red, but just a little bit slow. Probably one of the biggest reasons we contribute to a wipe there. But we're getting the hang of the mechanics. Hopefully, seeing this a couple times helps illustrate, how you need to think through this, and hopefully.
my hunger.
Okay, one other thing I wanted to add before we end here is just to note that the direction of the beams is going to alternate between clockwise and counterclockwise. So just bear that in mind if you're going to use the trick I showed you before the purification beam to look to see what color orientation they are, so that you can predict which way you're going to want to move, because depending on which side you're on, one time you'll want to look at the left in the back, the other the right in the back. Just bear that in mind as you get used to these mechanics. If nothing else, you can always wait to see the energy beams. More notice you have, the better. So as you and your teams get used to this, I think it's a helpful tip, not necessarily mandatory. Just need to basically be seeing the beams more than anything else. That'll help you know where to move, but really hope that's helpful to you. Okay, everyone, that's everything I wanted to show you. Just wanted to give you a few quick examples. Again, full caveats, right? This is a prog environment. Our prog team's actually doing this fight for the very first time. So these are very raw, very rough, still figuring out these mechanics. So hopefully seeing it in a little rougher form is actually a little more helpful rather than seeing the perfect pulls, which I think kind of seeing it both ways can be really helpful. But see here, again, the key is I think trying to have each team be on one color based on the radiance. So if you're on Esne, you're going to be red. If you're on Aivela, you're going to be white. And in general, trying to, as quickly as possible, identify you're going to be on the side or you're going to be on the back with respect to that color, moving towards that color. You got to get through the X, get through both of those beams as quickly as you can. Then you swap polarity, and then you've got more time for the other beams to come to you, to DPS the boss and to get repositioned. And again, as soon as you finish that phase, if you're not matching your radiance color for your boss, you just swap back. Obviously, optimizing it and avoiding AoEs and all those things, the better you can do it, the crisper. Hopefully this gives at least a few quick examples and some helpful tips to get through this fight. Best of luck to you, and hope you get through this cleanly. Thanks very much.